Of course, then the market's bullish. You can see that we've got a blue to a blue here. So there's the blue there, there's the next blue. Well, that's flat, isn't it? It's flat with a very small rise. If we look at purple to purple, you can see there was a purple high here to the purple low there. So that's what's called a consolidation. You've got a lower time frame sell and a higher time frame buy. So you're thinking the market's going to break north, aren't you? That's the rule, because obviously the two blue dots, are stronger and longer duration than the two purple dots. So obviously when that breaks north, the idea is that you'd be long on the break north, and obviously a very, very straightforward kind of idea. Again, two blue again hits in here, so that upgrades your trend line. Now there is a trend just before that which kind of gets in your way a little bit there, but that gives you an idea that that's your current trend there. And again, the same basic idea that when you start seeing some dots which we don't get there, which we don't get there, which we don't get there, because they're all going higher, they're still going higher. And if these purple lines are going higher, there's no challenge to it. You don't even have a short-term trend against you. All you should be doing is buying for the press, right? Every time you get purple line that goes higher, then that is not a challenge. There's the next purple dot there, and again, it's higher still. So you can see that your job is to keep pressing into that. Now we've got a purple line that still goes higher one last time. Right there, purple line that still goes higher one last time. And obviously now you get this idea that the long term and the short term are now agreeing with each other there. And obviously you get a purple line that now drops just from this point. You should see the price break structure here. And obviously there was no compression into that area. So obviously you broke structure there. The next dot you've got is this one here. It's a short term, but it turns into a longer term, which is just there. And now you've obviously got the short term dots coming in here to here, which means that at the moment, the bears are in charge of this trend. Do you see that? The bears are in charge of this trend, because the bears come from the two and the bulls come from the single dots. So that trend line is a single dot trend line, and that trend line is a blue dot trend line. And that means that the bigger cycle at the moment, the bigger trend that's developing just now is on the sell side. And as a result, you'll be watching for the breaking of this low structure, which obviously would open the door to a potential sell side drive. Make sense? Is that how everybody's seeing this? And if you go backwards, you'll see that that's exactly how this plays out, right? You can see how this plays out. You can see that big cycle buy coming in there. You can see the short-term cycle sell here. There's a short-term cycle sell there, and there's another short-term cycle sell there. So the big long-term buy comes in, breaks the short-term cycle at that point, and that opens the door to the buy phase right there. So there's the break of structure at that point there. So when the structure breaks there at 4,004, that opens the door to the big upside move.